Triad meetings. I was out for surgery, but I'm doing well now, so I'm glad to be back with you. This is amazing. We just need to keep growing every month, and this is what we love to see. So we've got more residents from Bristol, Romeoville with us today, so that's amazing. Thank you for coming out.
They just changed names.
Sue. I always got to discipline you, Sue. Sorry, that's Sue. I'm not Sue. Okay, so for you that do not know me, I'm Officer Jerry Stragowski. I'm with the Police Department, Community Outreach Unit, and my partner, Officer Kevin Brock, who was here last month, so you might know him over here. We just have a couple announcements for all of you. But before we do that, if I could interrupt your breakfast, if we could stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, two quick things. One, being partners with Jennifer the last couple of years, I found out that I get ideas. I present them to her and she's my filter. So a lot of my ideas are great, grand, wonderful ideas, like let's do this, that sounds great. And she says, Kevin, that's unrealistic, or you're out of your mind, or you might be having to take some sobriety tests before you start coming to work. Not sure which it is, hopefully it's at least one of the first two. But one of the ideas that popped in my head was to do a veterans Triad meeting. So that would obviously fall into the month of November. It will not obviously be November 11th, which is Veterans Day, but it will be an opportunity for us to reach out to our local veterans and have some type of, I don't want to say ceremony, but presentation to them and honor them for the work that they've done in keeping our country the way it is now. And we want to appreciate them and thank them for what they've done. So the idea was born about a month ago, and now trying to figure out how many veterans we have in Lockport is the next part of the equation. I reached out to the high school. We usually do a veterans night at basketball games, and it's very well attended. And he sent me the list, and the list is about 150 veterans. He did inform me though that some of the veterans are from Tinley and Mokina, stuff like that, but in order to accommodate this size of a building, we're looking to try and do just Lockport residents only. However, I'm not going to tell a veteran he can't come or he or she can't come because they've done more than I've ever done. So I'm not going to shoot them away. So the idea is, in the 2 months from now meeting, to reach out and try and get that list together and work with the township buildings. The first I think Michelle started and Rico, so they're just going to completely ignore me. You guys good with it? Fantastic. They have responses, they're good with it. But it's just something that we're kind of working on. Hopefully we can make it happen in some way, shape, or form to honor veterans. I know there's some in attendance today. So I would like to pick their brains maybe after the meeting, just kind of figure out if they know a more exact number for Lockport resident veterans that we could reach out to. So that's the one presentation or whatever, the one announcement I'll make. The other is we are blessed with the opportunity to sit next to the investigations office where Jared and I sit, and we get to hear a lot of the different calls and for services they're getting. And still, I even mentioned it last week, scams are out there. We're going to do a presentation on it very soon, but please, please, please be very wary of any phone call, email, text message, letter, someone coming to your door, anything like that. Please be very wary of who is reaching out to you. The scammers like to prey on trust, and they found a spot with a lot of the seniors because seniors trust people, which is great. Unfortunately, they prey on that, and we don't want to see that happen to you guys. The banks are usually pretty good at stopping it if they see some weird transactions, but there's all kinds of different ways they can try and get money. And we the families that can benefit from the money as far as being able to accommodate themselves. So please, if you have any question about anything you're getting, don't be ashamed, don't be nervous to call, don't think that you're not able to see these things, and don't be embarrassed about it. Call us. We will gladly show up at your house. You can come to the police station, wherever it may be, so we can verify that what you're getting to be a legitimate business or offer. Most times, if it's too good to be true, that is true. My father fell for it, and they are crafty. So please, anything that you have not asked for, don't give money to until you verify it with maybe another family member, if you are comfortable with that, or us, but somebody. Call your bank. Call somebody. They see scams all the time. So please make sure to reach out to us so you don't fall victim to it. Other than that, I'll turn it back over to my partner.
Okay, so today we have Vince Bailey with us. He is from Big Financial, and like you're aware of, that's why you're here today. He's been talking to us about trusts and trustees and what we need to know. Okay, so without further ado, I'll turn it over to Vince.
Alright, can everybody hear me? Okay, thanks for having us today, we really appreciate it. I've got my partner here today with me, Nick Smith. Nick and I are both wealth advisors that work in the trust department and Bank Financial. I've got my branch manager over here, Monique. So any questions related to the bank on the topics we're going to talk about today, or just any banking questions in general, scams also, that's over here now. So the topic today that we're going to talk about is trust and trustees and what you need to know. When I was here last month, I just did a quick commercial about what we do in the trust department, and we had a lot of questions on trustee-related questions. I don't think a lot of folks realize that you can use many as your trustees. So that's what we're going to cover today. So, let's start here. I swear it was working everywhere. So as Nick's figuring that out, what I'll do is I'll just kind of talk about the next slide. The next slide is just a little bit of information about Bank Financial. We're a 100-year-old bank almost. We're formed in 1924. We're a community bank. We've got 19 locations across the Chicagoland area. We have 2 branches that you guys sit kind of in the middle of our 2 branches. So we have our branch in Joliet, which is kind of Northwest Hill, and then we have our Royal Park branch. So we're here to serve the community. We do have a trust department and a wealth management department, which is pretty unique for most community banks these days. Anyone? I'm trying. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So, highly rated bank, we're an A-rated bank. 5 stars from our, which is a rating agency. So, like I said, we've been here for a long time. Trust us, please trust us, community bank, financial. So, what the trust department really does and what we do here at Bank Financial are a few things. So, kind of that core blue circle you see, we do trusted investments. So, on the trust side, we get a lot of questions about, can you help me with the trust? Can you write my trust? We don't write a trust. We don't produce the document. If you don't have a trust or you haven't started on the estate planning road with a will or a trust or powers of attorneys, you really should go see an estate planning attorney. Go see somebody that knows what they're doing, right? Pick somebody that practices in that part of the law. Some attorneys will say, well, I can do a will, but they primarily do real estate. I wouldn't hire the electrician to do my plumbing, right? So go to someone that does that type of work. They'll help you, they'll know the laws, they'll know, because the laws are constantly changing. So make sure you see that person. So what we do in the trust part is we don't write documents, but we administer them if we need to act as trustee. In addition to that, we can be guardian of someone's assets. So sometimes the court might appoint a bank to be a guardian for someone, whether it's an older individual or whether it's a younger child that just doesn't have anybody to take care of them. We take care of them financially, not physically. So we can help them with their assets. We can be someone's executor. So your will, you're going to name an executive. That's the person who's going to take care of everything when you pass away. Right? If you don't have a family member that can do that for you, or you don't want to put that burden on a family member, you can have a bank with a trust fund. We can act as agent. Agent is the trust world's version of financial advisor. So we help clients manage their money, whether they have a trust with us or not. So we have an insurance department at the bank, so we do life insurance, long-term care, annuities, we do asset management. So we have the breadth of investment products, and that's kind of where that agent role. And then ultimately, what we're going to talk about today is we can be your trustee or your successor or co-trustee in your trust. So we come here, some of the things we're going to do, so I'm going to skip here. So this is really one of the single most important things you can do when you're putting together your estate planning and putting together your trust is you need to name, you're your trustee while you're alive and while you have your state of mind, right? But if you become disabled and can't act on your own behalf, or once you pass away, in your trust, you name someone to do whatever your document says. And that's your successor trustee. They take over. You're the boss while you're alive. When you pass or if you become disabled, you hand those duties to someone else. So it's very important. You want to hand those duties to someone that you trust. You can hand that to a friend, a family member. It's up to you. But you want to hand it to somebody that you trust will execute your wishes based on a document that you've gone to an attorney. So it's very important that if you really want your wishes taken care of and you want everything taken care of the way that you had planned it, to name someone that's going to fulfill that duty. So the duties that a trustee has, again, it's a pretty important job. You've got duty of skill and care, right? You've got duty to give notices. And notices are the reporting to the beneficiaries. Let's say there are beneficiaries there. You have to send out money after the person has passed away, or maybe the beneficiary with your trust that says, don't give them all the money. Pay that amount a little bit over time, whether it's over the course of a couple of years or the course of their lifetime, but however you set it up with your attorney. We have to give notices and reporting of these. Duty to account. Again, you have to account for the assets when someone passes away. You have to sell a home. You have to pull in all of their investment accounts, their bank accounts. You have to keep track of that, and you have to do a tax return. There's a lot of work that needs to be done because the beneficiary can come back if you're the trustee and say, "Where's the money?" And if they don't like your reporting, they can drag you into court and return it to us. So somebody that becomes the trustee needs to be very organized in how they take care of that. Duty not to delegate, right? Duty to just basically do that job themselves. Duty of loyalty. Ultimately, your loyalty as a trustee is the loyalty to the person that's giving you that job to take care of the wishes the way that they want it. Duty of impartiality, right? You need to take yourself out of the equation. It's not what you think is best. It's what the document says what the person wanted. Duty to invest, right? So that money that's in that trust may need to be invested to take care of those other beneficiaries over the course of time, however your trust is set up. So, to take care of that money and be prudent with it. And, duty to confidentiality, right? Sometimes when it's a family member, that can cause issues. The family members are calling up going, who got what? I heard my cousin got more than I got. Well, it's none of your business. So it's in the trust, it's confidential. So picking someone that can take care of all of these duties for you is very important. And one of the reasons that people will look to a bank to take care of that is because trust law is very complicated. It's constantly changing. We've had some updates recently in the trust law in Illinois. So, the rules are constantly changing. The trust department or a corporate trustee, we're constantly on top of that. We're going through training. We're staying abreast of the changes. We're reviewing the trust documents to make sure that we're doing the right thing. We have that knowledge because that's all we do all day. If you think about it, we have a full-time department that handles things, right? It's a full-time job. So if you hand that off to an individual that already has a full-time job, it can be difficult. They might not know how to do all of these things. as I said, when we close in estates, if someone passes away, we have to drag in all of the assets, right? A lot of times we're dragging in their investment accounts, their IRA, their bank accounts. We're selling their home, and we may need to invest that money for a certain period of time, depending on what the trust says. So your average person isn't always comfortable doing that. And that's a lot of times when they seek advice personally for a financial advisor. Well, as a trustee in the trust department, we bring all those assets in, we manage that money until the money needs to be dispersed. And it helps to have that background and, in investing and knowing how to invest based on what the trust wishes are. So, we'll invest that wisely, and we have the tools to do that. So, we do financial planning for our clients. So the trust departments have financial planning software. If they're passing money on to the next generation, to help that next generation figure out if all of a sudden they get a large inheritance, how they're going to manage that, how they're going to take care of it. Individual trustees, they not always invest in the trust's best interest, right? If you have an individual that all of a sudden receives this money and they're the trustee, they might invest that money the way that they would normally invest their own money. That may not be the best way to invest that money based on what the trust document says. So again, a good trustee is going to take themselves out of the equation and really look at the document and go, what do I need to do here? What were the wishes of the person that set this trust up? And how do I best fulfill those wishes? So I'm going to hand it over to Jim and let him do a couple slides.
Just to back up for a quick second to make sure we're all on the same page about what a trust even is. Sometimes it gets thrown around as it's a fancy thing for billionaires to keep their secret about. But all a trust really is a way to split up who has control of an asset and who is holder. If you have your regular checking account, you have control of it and who's for it to use. Your money, you do whatever you want with it. When you create a trust, you're dividing those two interests. You're giving someone control to manage it, and that's the trustee, and it's for the benefit of, can be the same person, or it could be someone else, the beneficiaries. If you create a trust for your lifetime, most often you are the trustee, you have control, and you are the first beneficiary. So those two interests are together, but the document lists who is going to benefit from it after you're gone. And at that point, you're gone, you need a new trustee also. And that's where we come in as the bank. We step in as the person who holds the money, who keeps it safe, but it's not for us, it's not for the bank, it's for your children or your grandchildren or a charity thing or anyone else. And so that's all a trust is a legal way to divide who's holding the money and to say who it's for. So everything we're talking about, what a trustee does, is what your job is when you're the person holding and safeguarding the money and following the instructions of the trust for the benefit of whoever the original trustee selected. So that's what we're talking about. So when you are acting as trustee, you have the money and you're safeguarding it for the beneficiaries. One of the things you have to do is give regular reports to the beneficiaries that says, here's what we're doing with the money that we're holding on to for you. And it's a technical, legal process. It's kind of, tax accounting is part of it, but you have to report how you invested, how the investments changed, any disbursements that you made, and you have to account for how everything that you've done, how that's following the rules of the documents. And if you're just an individual who is doing that on their own and trying to learn it for the first time, it can be very complicated, and if you make mistakes, then you can be legally liable to the beneficiaries if you made distributions you weren't supposed to, or made investments you weren't supposed to. So that's one of the things that we have experienced in Singapore. I can continue on talking about, naming just, a family member or a friend as your trustee as opposed to a bank or another professional trustee. The individual you name isn't going to have any oversight until there's a problem and a court gets involved, and then that oversight is going to be retroactive. If they made distributions they weren't supposed to, if they took distributions for themselves, bought things that they weren't supposed to, it's not going to come out until a beneficiary says, hey, show me that accounting, and then there's money missing, now we have to try to bring it back. The corporate trustee, like a bank, is subject to constant oversight from government regulators. They come in and they audit our books, they audit our processes, they make sure that we're doing all the things that we say we're doing, and if something is missed in a corporate trustee office, it's going to get figured out a lot sooner than it would be if you just ran into this. Time is a big one. This applies to executors of wills too. It's a similar job. A lot of people, I used to be a trust and estate attorney practicing before I came to the bank. And a lot of people I would talk to would worry about if they had multiple children, would they be offending one of their kids if they named one as the executor and not the other one. And what I would tell them was, whoever you don't name is probably going to thank you. It's not a reward. It's a full-time job to, whether it's a trust or an estate, to do all this accounting and reporting and oversight. And if you don't know how to do it already, it's already a full-time job. You have to be trained first. You have to research what all the laws mean. You have to learn how to do it. And it's not that it can't be done, but it's a lot more efficient to have professionals do it right the first time and get things rolling. And a lot of people worry about the cost, but there's also a cost of having someone in charge who doesn't know what they're doing, and that cost is having things take a lot longer than it would ordinarily. And this is a big one. Saying no. If you have to leave a trust for your grandkids that says that they can use the money to pay for college or for a down payment on their first house, and you name a relative as trustee. A grandchild comes to them and says, I don't think I'm going to go to college. I want to start a business, and they have some terrible ideas. They come to the trustee. They can just have the college money to start a business. And it can be hard to say no to a family member. At the bank, we're professional sayers of no. They come to us and say, can I have money for this instead? And our answer is going to be, this is what the document says. We can't do it. We're legally prohibited from doing it. We're sorry. And not that we don't want to maintain good relationships with the beneficiaries of the trust that we work on, but we want to maintain a better relationship with our government regulators too, who are going to come shut us down if we're not following the trust documents like we're supposed to. So that is you can resolve a lot of, or avoid a lot of family conflicts by bringing in a third party to help manage those situations. That's a lot of what we do, which is on the interpersonal side. And that'll turn back over here.
Thank you. I was joking on the past topic that, you don't have to go to Thanksgiving and sit across from your relatives. So we can say no, and we know how to say no, as I said. So, longevity. This is a big one. We see a lot of this from just clients in general that I talk to that will come to us and say, look, I'm getting older. The people that I had named as trustee have all passed away. So I have a couple more friends that I want to list as successor trustee in my trust, but they're older also. So who's going to be there for them? And that's where a corporate trustee, is one of the reasons to really kind of consider that mortality of the person that you're going to name as trustee. So, and you know, if that individual person that you named were to become disabled or for some reason couldn't act, again, now you have to find someone. So what you'll see people do sometimes is they'll just name a corporate trustee like a bank as their trustee, or we may be second or third down the line. They may name a couple of relatives and then maybe name the bank as a backstop, you know, if all else stands. To name a corporate trustee to name a bank, there's no charge. You know, as Nick mentioned earlier, there's a cost. We don't charge until we actually have to do the work. So you can name a corporate trustee and you may never use that corporate trustee. You know, your first trustees may take care of that. So sometimes they're just there as a backstop. So you know, we will always be there in some form. So the cost effectiveness. You know, our team in a bank's trust department's team, they're going to have someone that has a legal background, like they're a former estate planning attorney, one that doesn't practice law at the bank, he understands estate planning. We have financial professionals, that's, you know, that's what we both do also. You know, we have, you know, we need an accountant or a tax professional, they're on our team. So what you see sometimes with that individual is, you know, they'll have to go out and recruit all of these individual team members that they need, and there's a price point for every one of those individual team members we have. So a lot of times a corporate trustee can save you money because the fee that we charge to administer the trust is, it's all baked in, and we have all of those. We have somebody to do the tax return, we have an attorney, we have the financial professionals, we have the trust administrators, we have the people that do the reporting. It's all there at one spot, and everybody's on the same team, so it's helpful versus maybe an individual when if they're not comfortable with some of the duties, they're going to have to go out and get help, and there's a charge to that help, and of course that comes out of the trust. So purchasing those services kind of piecemeal or individually can be costly. So legally bound. So a trust department is considered a fiduciary. Fiduciary is really just a legal term that means we have to act in the best interest of the client. It's not what we feel is right, it's we have to act in your best interest. Right? You're always in the forefront, so we have to act in good faith, we have to exercise reasonable care, we have to avoid conflicts of interest. That's easy to do when you're a corporate trustee because, again, we're not involved with the family, and we can't benefit from our position. Sometimes you might see or horror stories about an individual that, you know, maybe they're successor trustee, they're active trustee, and they're a beneficiary too, and then they pull out a little more money than they should have because they decided they deserve it. That's not necessarily the way that things work, right? So, you know, you got to make sure that you have somebody that's not going to benefit from that position. And again, we're legally not to do that. As I mentioned earlier, we have auditors that constantly come into the bank and review all this work that we do. So there's always someone looking over our shoulder to make sure that we're doing right. And then, you know, that peace of mind with a corporate trustee, you know, some of the things that we really just talked about earlier, we understand the complicated trust law. A corporate trustee is going to have that investment knowledge that they invest money for clients. You know, we have some sort of oversight looking over our shoulders. We have auditors, we have internal auditors, and we have the OCC, and we have the FDIC, and we have multiple auditors that are constantly looking over that. We understand the duty to account and the duty to report. Most trust departments have invested a lot of money in software that can produce statements for clients, beneficiaries that can report where money is going in and out. Your average person is going to be able to do that. Again, we have that time and expertise that we mentioned. This is all we do, so it is a full-time job. And this is the world that we live in, so we've kind of seen it all. We are impartial. Again, we're a neutral third party. We have that longevity that I mentioned, because someone will always be there in that trust department, whether it's Nick or I or whoever continues on after us. We could say document should be reviewed every now and then, right? To make sure that the changes in your life, maybe the changes in your family are still reflected, you know, in the way that you had originally put the document together. You may have leave the money to a particular relative and, you know, they may no longer be there, or maybe married someone that you're not thrilled with. So, you know, now you might make some changes to look at it. So there's all sorts of reasons that you should really review the documents occasionally. And as I mentioned, Nick and I don't practice law like we used to, so it's a value to our team. But we, you know, if you need a good attorney to help you update your documents, or if you haven't gone down this road yet and you need a good attorney to talk to, we have plenty of attorneys that we've done work with, you know, that we've seen their work come in. So just let us know when they happen to kind of push you in the right direction. We're also happy to sit with you and answer questions before you go, just to get you organized. You know, an attorney's going to charge you a package fee for something like this, or they're going to charge you by the hour. So a little free advice is helpful sometimes to get your game plan together before you go. So quick summary. Nick, you want to take care of the quick summary and wrap this up? Sure.
The quick summary, I would say, is the difference between an individual and a corporate trustee. If you're going to name an individual, that it's fine, but you need to be aware of everything that you're asking them to do. It's not just hold the checkbook and, you know, write checks. There's a lot of extra work that goes on top of it, so you need to be careful about who you're selecting. And that goes for picking a corporate trustee too. If you're going to pick someone to, you know, watch over the money for your kids or your grandkids, you need to make sure that that person understands your values and you know, gets to know you and how you manage it so that they can do it correctly when you're no longer there to do it. You know, make sure it's something you can count on, who knows what they're talking about, and that you're comfortable with. And again, just to go all the way back to the beginning, you know, to really understand what the trustee is doing, it's not someone you're giving your money to for them to take it. It's like a house sitter. If you give someone the keys to watch your house while you're on vacation, it's not their house. You know, they have the keys, but they're looking after it for you, and you have to trust them to do it in the legal terms in your best interest, and not in their own. Your house sitter can't turn around and lease your house to someone else and collect the rent payment. They can't use it to host parties for themselves. Your trustee is there looking after it for you and for anyone who you might give the house to afterwards. So make sure you trust the person you use your house to. And with that, Vince and I are going to stick around up here. If you have any specific questions, general questions, we covered a lot of information in a short time, and you can't cover everything. So we'll be happy to talk to you for as long as you do.
You know, I will mention one thing that I know we, our branch manager, sees a lot on the bank side, and she probably sees it more than we do. You know, a client will go through the process of putting this trust together, and then the attorney is typically going to give them homework to say, now go title your accounts in trust. Think of the trust as really just it's a bucket to hold your assets, right? This happened in my own family. My mother-in-law, my father-in-law went out, saw an attorney, spent some good money, got a really nice trust document put together. The attorney gave them homework. Go to your banks and title your accounts in trust. That way, when you pass away, your spouse can just go in with the trust and say, hey, you're a trustee, I need access to this account. Right? My father-in-law didn't do that. So he had like 4 accounts that he just never put a beneficiary on them. They weren't joint accounts. He didn't title them in trust. So when he passed away, my mother-in-law said, "You need help?" She's very independent. She said, "No, I'm good." I said, "All right, if you run into issues, let me know." About 3 weeks later, she called me just frustrated. She was, I can't get any of this money out of the bank. She goes, the one account we get our mortgage out of the bank is basically just a whole lot of the account. Why did I spend the money on this trust? What is this thing good for? So I went back and looked at it and we had a discussion. I'm like, you never went and titled these accounts and trusts. So if you spend the money to put this document together, you need to make sure that the accounts that you can title and trust are actually trusts. I know Monique sees a lot when, someone passes away, they'll come into the bank and, I'm the trustee and you work this trust out and it's the trust and we look at the account and so account's not titled in trust and it's not jointly owned and you're not the beneficiary, there's not a lot we can do. So then you have to go through a whole other process to get to that cash. And the whole reason you're going through the process of going through the estate planning process and putting a trust together is so you know what probate and make things easy. So as you continually open up accounts, keep that in mind if you have a trust. You want to make sure that you're titling things correctly so that it's going to make it easier for that trustee at some point in time. Any questions? What happened? Yes?
I was just wondering, in general, how are your fees structured around ministry?
Yeah, good question. So typically what a trust department will do from a fee standpoint is it's a percentage of the assets that are in the trust that we bring in. And it depends. Some trusts are very simple where really the trustee is just gathering the assets and then pushing it out to the beneficiaries as soon as the estate's settled. It's pretty inexpensive from that aspect. But usually it's probably 1.5% of the assets. Every trust department is going to be a little different. So, you want to, when you're looking to engage with the trust department to take care of this duty for you, you want to look at their fee schedule. You want to get to know them and know their philosophy. While again, they may not be there, the grant may not be here in 20 years to do that, but usually the philosophy of the department carries on. And in working with estate planning attorneys, we do get referrals for these types of situations, and a lot of times what I hear from estate planning attorneys is that they try to avoid the larger banks just because that trust department is kind of going under. So, community bank, whether it's us or another community bank, and has a trust department, they're usually pretty easy to get a hold of. You can walk in and talk. We don't have an 800 line phone tree. If you call the trust department, we'll fix it. So, good question. Yes, ma'am.
I've got a question. I'm looking at your literature, and it says on the back of it, not FDIC insured. And now you had made reference to the FDIC earlier in your presentation. Is this referring to not covered by FDIC, the actual investments? And when you were talking about FDIC in the earlier slide, is that your actual bank account?
Yeah, good question. So the question I should repeat for the folks out there was about FDIC insurance. Our brochure at the back of our trust brochure says not FDIC insurance. That relates to investments.
Okay, I just wanted to.
So any bank that helps you that has an investment department is going to have to list that investments outside of the bank are not FDIC insured. And really, if you think about that, the FDIC is there to just protect the bank accounts. Right? Anything outside of the bank, whether it's insurance, whether it's investments, are not FDIC insured. As a bank, we have to disclose that. If we were to go to like an individual investment advisor, they're not required to post that on the literature, but we are just to make sure that there's not a loss of communication that somebody thinks that their investment accounts are FDIC. Good question.
The two-part question, are all banks fiduciaries? And if you have money invested in a bank, in your investment department, would that be a conflict of interest for them to be your trustee?
Both good questions. So first question was, are all banks fiduciaries? And second is, if you have investments at that bank, is it a conflict of interest for them to act as fiduciary? Not all banks are, a traditional bank or savings and loan, they're not really considered a fiduciary. It's going to be more.
No, it can be a little more complicated than that because there can be people in a trust department is always going to be a fiduciary because a trustee is by definition a fiduciary who has to act in your best interest and the beneficiary's best interest. But there could be other people at the bank who aren't in the trust department who are in more of a sales role. You know, for example, if you ask for a CD, that person might not be held to a fiduciary standard except like best interest or a suitability standard where their job is to make sure that the CD is suitable for you and maybe not necessarily that next step to make sure that it's the absolute best thing for you. But so a trust department is always going to be held to a fiduciary standard.
Yeah, and that second part of your question, it's really not a conflict of interest. If you have your bank investing money for you and then they act as your trustee later, because of that fiduciary standard we have, right? We have to act in your best interest. So that's our job, to make sure that we're acting in your best interest. Now, things may change, right? Let's say we're managing your investment account while you're alive, and then you pass away, and your trust dictates the money to be managed in a different way. Now we have to manage that based on the trusts. But we're always we have to legally put you before us, before our profits, our feelings on the mission. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I was just wondering, is there any advantage to being to the executor?
Advantage of, so the question was about executor. Was it like advantage of having like a bank act as your executor or the trust department?
No, a family member who is executor. Is there any advantage to being that? Or you just happen to have a good time?
You can charge a fee to the estate, and so you could get a little bit extra money. It's not. It has to be a reasonable fee. You can't say I'm executor and my fee is $1 million. Yay for me. The reasonable fee is based on the amount of work you do. So if it's an estate where you don't have to do anything, you're not going to get a fee. And if it's an amount of money that's sizable, it's because you're doing a lot of work that's not often a lot of fun to do. So whether or not you consider that an advantage, the executor is bound to follow what the will says, and there are times where there's some discretion. A lot of wills will say, for personal property, for stuff in the house, it'll say, give it, just split it up to whoever wants it, and the executor is the referee who gets to solve conflicts. So in that case, if there's, a necklace that you really want and you're the executor and you say, I resolved this conflict in favor of myself, yeah, okay, but nothing major.
Thought I saw a hand in the back, maybe, earlier. Yes, ma'am.
If the trust, does the trust take place of the will, or is that two separate entities?
Sure.
They are two separate entities, and sometimes a will can create a trust. But the standard setup is you have a will and a trust, and you title all of the assets you can in your trust while you're alive to avoid probate and to keep things simple. And the will is there to catch anything that falls through the cracks. Mostly, again, when you talk about personal property, your stuff. You can't title a necklace into a trust because there's no title to it like there is a car or investments. And so if you have that trust, you have what's called a pour-over will. And your will just says anything that I own that's not already in my trust, put into my trust. And then that's all the will does. And then the trust is the document that says who gets what and when and under what circumstances.
And if you look at trust, you have a power of attorney. Is that not considered a trust, but that you
Those are also two separate things. The biggest distinction is the power of attorney is only effective while you are alive. So if you have a power of attorney, well, today that person is out and able to pay your bills, manage your investments, do anything that you could do as if they were you, as long as you are alive. As soon as you pass away, that power of attorney is void, and that's when a trustee would take over. If everything, under the pour-over situation, everything from your will pours over into your trust, and now whoever you have listed as your backup trustee set to take over when you're gone, now they're the person who can manage the bank accounts and do all of that, and the power of attorney is not effective.
Good question. We talk a lot, I think it's like that. So, we talk a lot about the trust situation, especially when someone passes away, but, it's also there for if you can't take care of yourself. So, as a corporate trustee, we have a lot of clients that just don't have family, or, their spouse passed away, they don't have children, or their children passed away, or whatever the case may be. And, they need help. So we pay the bills, we take care of them financially. If they're in an assisted living situation, we pay the bills if they need. We can't take care of them physically, but if they need help physically, we find someone to help them physically. There are services out there. And, we pay those bills and we manage that money for that client to make sure that they're taken care of. So there are a lot of services out there that provide that type of help to clients, whether it's in home or whether they eventually made this sort of assisted living in a nursing home. And I know, maybe not going to be around to answer any questions you want after the fact. I don't want to go along, but Monica is with us here today, and Monica's from Home Care Assistance, and we use firms like Monica's firm if we have a client that just needs help, they don't stay in their home, and we make suggestions, look at a firm like this, and as a trustee, you can be able to do this. So, Monica, you want to come up? I don't think you want to say a few words. Thank you for letting me talk. We'll hang around as long as you guys want to answer any questions.
Nice transition. Thank you, guys. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. As it said, my name is Monica Rocky, and I work for Home Care Assistance. I don't want to spend a ton of time doing, a commercial for you. I know there's a lot of home care agencies out there. I've been working for Home Care Assistance for just about 4 months. However, I've been working with seniors for almost 35 years. So I've been hanging out doing that for a long, long time. And I love Home Care Assistance. It's an amazing agency. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We specialize in longer hour cases. We hire caregivers who are phenomenal, and we have some higher minimums than some other, like we don't do, an hour here, an hour there, because caregivers really like to stay in one place and really create relationships with their folks. So we have 8-hour minimums, so we really specialize in those longer hours when someone really needs some care or live-in or 24-hour care, that kind of thing. So. And I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has. I can leave a few minutes to take my mom to the doctor. I'll be here for a few more minutes, and I hope to see you all again at another meeting. Thanks for having me.
Just 2 other quick announcements. We have with us here today Jasmine Rubio. She is from the Illinois House of Representatives. She's a district director, so she will be here. Just want to say.
Hello everyone, again my name is Jasmine Rubio. I'm the district director for the Illinois State House of Representatives for Representative Aguilar. She represents the 85th district, so that's part of Bolingbrook, Romeoville, Lockport, part of Woodbridge. So we are actually going to be here every 4th Tuesday of the month in this room right here if anyone needs resources. The reason why we wanted to do this is in case people were unavailable to go to our district office in Bolingbrook, we would be able to come to you where you guys have easier access to come to our office and either ask for assistance with any state agencies, or we can point you in the right direction to other resources around the community. So again, if you guys have any questions or would you like to comment or let us know about issues you guys are experiencing in your community, I will be in that office and writing everything down. Thank you.
Okay, so that wraps up our Triad meeting for this month. Again, thank you all for coming online and in person. We appreciate it. Trudy, who's one of our Triad members, she did want me to mention that she just found out here in Lockport, Walgreens and CVS are giving the Pfizer booster. So if that is something that you guys are interested in, contact Walgreens or CVS, make an appointment online, or go in and
Take your chances.
Take your chances that you
Farmers
can get it pretty
get,
quick.
you give it.
Also, next month, we are going to be the October. I'll be sending out all the information. It's going to be a presentation, myself and Kevin. We're going to be doing senior scams and fraud. Like Kevin had mentioned previously, that we are seeing an influx of that over just this last month. So we really want to hit some good points, take any questions or concerns regarding that. But I'll send the flyer out, either through mail or online, or if I can give any questions or concerns. Okay, guys? Thank you very much. The October meeting, that day, up for you real quick. That will be October 26th, and it will be here at 9.
Oh, what about voting?
Most likely, yes. Yes, the voting. We'll have to talk with Michelle about that.
Also, if you go to the Walgreens in Lockport, my wife